On behalf of Julia and Tim, as well as their parents, Debbie and Mac, and Felicia and Al, I offer welcome to all of you to this wedding ceremony. Julia and Tim offer their sincere thanks to all of you who have joined us this evening to bear witness to their love for one another, a love that was shaped in part by each of you here tonight, in ways great and small that led them here tonight. So tonight we not only join Julia and Tim as husband and wife, we also officially bring together two large families, the Vonderheids and the Matsuzakas. And as for me, I get the coolest title outside of bride or groom, celebrant. As a legally ordained minister, my role today is to guide these two through their ceremony and deliver a married couple at the end of the proceedings. So it is my honor and privilege to do just that. So shall we? Please be seated. A wedding is a solemn celebration. Two words that may seem at odds, yet I believe, and I think the bride and groom will agree, that they are two words well met, not unlike the bride and groom themselves. Solemn, by definition, is serious. Julia and Tim do not stand before you today lightly. They are mindful of the effort marriage takes and will profess vows to one another, witnessed by all of us, to do the work to continue to grow their love. And anytime love grows, that is a cause for celebration. So it is fitting tonight that we celebrate love. We celebrate trust. We celebrate joy. We celebrate unity. We celebrate the time-honored tradition of saying yes, of saying I do. Yes, I do. Right now. And yes, I do to what's next. Because love in marriage is a choice, an action. Tonight, Julia and Tim formally and officially choose one another. Tonight, Julia and Tim choose, I can speak. Julia and Tim choose balance. Balance, much like love, is one of those magnificent words that serves as both a noun and a verb. Balance is both a thing and an action. As a noun, balance means a state of equilibrium. an equal distribution of weight and amount. Another definition calls balance a harmonious arrangement or relation of parts or elements within a whole. And yet another says balance is the ability to remain steady when you are standing up. As a verb, balance means to keep or put something in a steady position so that it does not fall. It means to give the correct amount of importance to each thing so that a situation is successful. And still another definition simply says, keep steady. Tonight, you make and celebrate the choice to always move back to one another. Marriage isn't always easy, but it is easier to stand steady when you lean on one another. And it's easier to give all things their correct importance when you make decisions with one another. It's easier with balance. So Julia and Tim, I invite you to look around. Look at this beautiful place. Look at your sides to the wedding party next to you. Look at your family. Look at your friends. You see several generations. You see a number of cultures and traditions. You see where you came from. And you see examples of where you're going. And all of us gathered here in loving kindness to celebrate with you are united in and united by your love, your balance. And it's tangible and it's powerful. We have been entrusted to you and you to us for a reason. The appreciation, respect, care, concern, occasional awe, and constant love exchanged by all here present leading up to your wedding day are merely a beginning. Keep us close, and we will protect and nurture this bond you share and strive to help you keep it strong and vibrant. As for you, Julia, Tim, I urge you to be liberators, to be lovers, to be creators, to pitch your tents together, to explore far and wide, knowing that you always have a home in one another. Tim and Julia have chosen to write their own vows for one another. So Tim, would you please offer the gift of your vows to Julia?
I, Timothy Daniel Matsuzawa, take you, Julia Francis Wenzel Vonderhaven, to be my chosen family. I vow to create a home with you that is warm, welcoming, and full of love. I promise to be your partner in creating life that is full of joy, adventure, and meaningful connection. Whether we face triumphs or challenges, we will face them together as a team. Julia, you are the love of my life. You are the light of my days.
Very good. Thank you, Tim. Julia, do you care to offer the gift of your vows to Tim?
I, Julia Francis Wenzel Wanderhide, so honored to have you as my husband. The last 10 years have been best as he is my best friend. I can't wait for the life that we have together from today, the past, today, and forward. I promise every day I'll be your greatest cheerleader to help me be the best I can, show up for myself, and I'll always be there to make sure you show up for you. We'll be there together, and it'll be this amazing day. I'm so happy and blessed to have you as my husband, and after today will be the greatest chapter after. I love you.
Good. Thank you, Julia. John, if you can hand me the rings, please. Very much. Friends, a wedding ring is an ancient symbol. It's one signifying a love with no beginning and no end. As a ring surrounds the finger of its wearer, so too does love surround the couple who exchange these rings. So Tim, please take Julia's hand and placing the ring on her finger, repeat after me. I, Tim,
I, Tim,
give you, Julia, this ring.
Oops.
As a sign of my love,
sign of my love,
please take it with my promise
please take it
to live the vows I offered you. And Julia, please take Tim's hand, placing the ring on his finger. Repeat after me. I, Julia,
I, Julia,
give Tim this ring as a sign of my love.
as a sign of my love,
Take it with my promise
take it with my promise
to live the vows I offered to you.
to live the vows I offer.
Tim and Julia, you have exchanged your vows and you have exchanged your rings. But in order to be official, there is one more step, the declaration of your intent. So please face one another, join hands as I ask. Do you, Tim Matsuzaka, take Julia Vonderheide to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
And do you, Julia Vonderheide, take Tim Matsuzaka to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
Then by the power vested in me by your love and by my license and by the great state of Ohio, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Tim, as soon as I get out of the way so the photographer can get a clean shot, you may kiss your bride. Family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct and my sublime honor and privilege to present to all of you, with every manner of love imaginable, Mr. and Mrs. Tim Matsuzaka. You have rose petals now. The bridal party follows.
For you, Albert. Hey, Albert, you paid for it.
Living just to find emotion, hiding somewhere in the night.
Oh, a little flat,
Hold on to the sweet lights. Don't stop.
She was cracking
There's another chord.
So, they've been together for 10 years. So, when we started preparing for this, I decided I needed to figure out why I know Tim is worthy of marrying my daughter. All right. So I came up with three distinct things that I know, how I know Tim is worthy of being my daughter's husband. The first was when, the first was very early in their relationship, and it was while my mom was sick. And Tim was beside her the entire time. That's a pretty tough thing for a young couple to actually deal with, especially since we know how close Julia was to her dad. The next was a trip to California where Tim spent an entire week with the six of us. You're welcome. I guess it was an excursion. All six of us wedged into an excursion going across Southern California and out to the desert. He was the only one that wasn't complaining the entire time. And if you know our group, we're known as being, I think the word is loud. So, he endured an entire week in the desert with us. And the third was the beautiful proposal. The engagement was an absolutely beautiful thing, well planned. So, welcome to the family, Tim. It seems like you've been here forever, but it is official. So, here's to a long line of happiness. We're glad to have you with us, and we look forward to the future with you too. Love you.
Well, welcome everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for coming to celebrate my sister, Julia, and her marriage to Tim. I'm so happy that they're finally getting hitched. After 10 years, kind of crazy, that's the age of a 5th grade child. And we never thought this day would come. But with the nudge of my mom, Tim finally popped the question. And after 2 years of being engaged, they chose this lovely date. With all seriousness, Julia has always been my role model. I wanted to just be like her when we were younger. I would try to match her outfits or put on her cheer uniform that was a little bit oversized with my little legs. Or wear her high heels to the grocery store that were probably about 5 sizes too big. While she was babysitting me, if I might add. She was my role model, and she still is. I always thought the age gap would kind of prolong our bond. But that day came a little early. I can go to Julia. I can go to Julia if I need anything. Whether it's getting me out of a predicament when my parents are gone, or yeah, I get it. Well, my parents are out of town or going shopping on the weekend. The sister bond that we have is unmatched, and I can truly tell her anything, and Tim with that matter. Over the past 10 years, not only Julia has watched me grow from a little girl to a young adult, but so has love for life. Tim has taken up the utmost care of my sister, even when meeting the parents for the first time, when Julia wasn't supposed to leave the house, and called Tim to pick her up. Let's just say, Tim wasn't expecting to meet my parents that day. I also knew that Tim would be sticking around when he put up with Julia's habit of saying she's not hungry and stealing her food off your plate. I'm glad she passed that on to you, Tim, instead of us. Because, let's just say, a lot of my food was stolen as a child. But I wouldn't want anyone else to be my brother-in-law. Everyone deserves love, but especially Julia and Tim. And over time, it's definitely shown that. I've looked up to their relationship in hopes that one day, having love as strong as theirs. With that being said, I love you both, and I'm excited for your journey to continue. Thank you.
All right, now that's my end.
It's been great to see Tim grow into the man that he is today. Congratulations, Tim.
The sheriff is here. For those who don't know, I'm sorry. I'm the third of four. Julia, when I was born, had to watch two young boys, making sure we weren't up to no good. You know, I'm known as the offensive type. But I decided to be a sincere younger brother. Thank you guys for the opportunity to be a part of this day. You know, I appreciate everyone that came. Everyone looks fantastic, especially me. Honestly, that's the prettiest lady in the world. And give it up. Put in my speech, so thanks. But they really have been 10 years, and they've never left each other's side. And give it to me emotional. But just overall, it's been awesome. And for my entire life, I've had two brothers, one brother. Now we go.